Okay, so we're going to cover some of the things that happen between pages 139 and 149. So hopefully you did this reading last night. So we start off with Dr. Ibrahim Siti, and he is a Palestinian. He works at the Hadram Hospital, which is in Israel. So the first thing you're going to do is notice what his morning is like. So he wakes up, he sees the newspaper there, he notices that his wife has not opened the newspaper. I want you to take a minute, and I want you to explain to me why his wife, Nadine, does not open the newspaper. What is it that she specifically is avoiding by not opening the newspaper? What kind of information is it that is constantly bombarding the news there? Next, I want you to think about Dr. Siti's trip to work. So again, he's Palestinian. He has to go into Israel to work, just like Sama was Palestinian and went into Israel to work, right? But Sama was unable to go through the border and be checked by the guards and everything. He snuck across. Dr. Siti is a doctor who works in a hospital, but he can't start sneaking across and hiding behind bushes to get to the other side. He has a card that's valid for him to go to the other side. I want you to explain Dr. Siti's commute to work. What is it like? How long does it take him to get? Specifically tell me why it is that he has to go through all of this that he experiences. Next, we'll move on to Sama. So Sama is still in the hospital, and he is in a lot of pain. He feels like people aren't taking care of him. He's in the hospital in Israel, remember that, and he's Palestinian. He's in the same hospital that Tommy and Vera are in, and he has a lot to say while he's here. He's trying to convince the doctors or the nurses of something, or the guards, I guess, of something about himself. And he gives us his own personal thoughts as well. So what I want you to do is I want you to explain what Sama says happened on the bus. Right? He claims he's not a bomber. He says he is not a suicide bomber, and the people can check and they can tell that he's not a suicide bomber. What does he say actually did happen on the bus? Then, on page 143, Sama makes some contradictory statements. He says, I don't hate Jews. And then he goes on to say, where is it? He says, I made a mistake. I believed it was only Jews who would die. So if he didn't hate Jews, but he thought only Jews were going to die, this is contradictory, right? This doesn't make sense. How does he explain what he was planning on doing he claims he did not follow through with? How does he explain that? What does he say? It is on page 143. Then we move on to Baruch and Tav, and he sits and he talks with Tommy. He talks with Tommy's mother, right? And he has had a few conversations with Tommy's mother. So he does now know why Tommy came, because the mother told him. And he's happy to do all of this translating for him. He's kind of overcome a lot. He's grown a lot, but he's also really struggling. He's having to take tranquilizers to lay down and calm himself down to lower his blood pressure, that kind of thing. But as he is in the waiting room, let's see. Tommy's parents and Vera's parents are talking with one another about how they're going to get their children out of here. They want to get their kids home, right? And he says he invites them to come over and have some coffee or tea with him. And they're like, I'll come whenever this is over. I can't leave her here. And Vera's father makes a comment, this will never be over. And then Baruch goes on to talk about, why does every generation have to carry somebody else's guilt, somebody else's story? Why can't each generation just have their own story and start themselves? So what I want you to do is explain in your own words Baruch's comment on page 145 when he says, like tangled string when you pull at it, it gets tighter. What is he referring to? What is he talking about? Explain it in your own words. Use an example if you think you can. I think that would be a great idea. So we see next that Thomas Wanninger is making some improvement. It says satisfactory improvement. And we also have Thomas and Vera in this hospital, like they're not well, they are kind of hallucinating, right? Kind of in and out of consciousness. They're trying to put things together. They don't 100% know exactly where they are and what's happening. So Thomas keeps having these dreams. He's dreaming about what? He's dreaming that he is in a certain place. Certain people are there, certain people are not. He's mixing up reality and this dream that he's been having. So explain to me what it is he has been dreaming about and how that relates to what happened to him. He's making some connections, right? He's having this dream about one thing and where he is. He's smelling something in his own reality, and he's saying something bad will happen to him if he leaves what it is he's dreaming about. So I want you to think about it. I want you to explain to me, what is Thomas dreaming about? And how is he making this connection to what's happening now? How are these two worlds kind of intertwined? Then I want you to think about Vera. Vera is also kind of going in and out. Her mom and dad are there, and she has realized that she has some different feelings for her father than she originally thought she did. And she says to him at the end, Papa, before these flames swallow me up, are you watching me spin? What is she referring to when she says watching me spin? It goes back to page 119. She mentioned something there. What is she talking about? And what are her new feelings for her father? What is it that she has realized about herself and her feelings? Finally, let's see. We have Thomas and Baruch talking. Baruch is talking to Thomas in German. Thomas is desperately trying to respond to him. He's talking about several different things. He brings up several things. I want you to list 3 things that Baruch tells Thomas while he's in this hospital on pages 148 and 149.